Welcome to another episode of The Thing About Us podcast. Real people having real conversations, finding real solutions about real relationships. Tonight, I've got an all-star group of guests. Tonight, we'll be talking about settling, how we settle, when we settle, why we settle, where we settle in our relationships. And let me start with our first guest here, all the way from Maryland. I've got Kanique. She's a wife, a mother of three, a creative consultant, and for some reason, her favorite dessert is a Publix vanilla cake. She likes Ben & Jerry's ice cream, Haagen-Dazs, and she's got her own company. We'll talk about that as we get towards the end. I Heart Spell House. My next guest is LaDonna Single, a travel lover, and believe it or not, y'all, she's a university professor. All right, last but certainly not least, I've got Angie, single mother of one, employee relations professional, and she is obsessed, and I do mean obsessed, with the show, The Golden Girls. Welcome to the show. I'm going to jump right in this. We're going to talk about settling. I've been hearing this topic come across, don't settle, don't settle, don't settle. But let's talk about settling. Let's jump it off with, how do we define settling? Anybody jump in, feel free, it's wide open.
Making a move too soon.
Making a move too soon.
That's part of it.
Okay, I like that. Making a move too soon. Anybody else jump on that?
I would say undermining your own happiness.
Say that one more time.
Undermining your own happiness.
Undermining, we put that on a t-shirt. Undermining your own happiness. I like that one. Okay. Anything else?
I like that one. And it's kind of relaxing, like your bare minimum standards, like relaxing those.
Relaxing bare minimum standards. Ooh, wow. I got undermining your own happiness, relaxing your bare minimum standards, and you say moving too fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tell me some more about moving too fast. Like, tell me how that is settling.
I think that's in accordance. That goes with those other two. So I said that was just part of it.
Yeah.
So I think your standards are relaxed. You're not completely happy, but you're so anxious to get to that other point that you move too fast. You jump in too soon.
Okay. A little anxious. Okay.
Yeah.
So the young people would say thirsty. So is that what we're talking about? You're thirsty. And so you jump into situations a little premature. Can I say this? Let me ask this question. So a lot of times when I hear settling, I also hear people saying they romanticize the situation. So they make the situation into something that is not, and then they end up getting into it, right? So tell me a little bit about this term, because when I first heard it, I was like, I don't even know what that means. But then I had someone explain to me a little more. When you romanticize a situation, like, because that leads to settling for something that maybe you didn't want, or maybe you're settling for something that you wanted at first and then it changed, or maybe you settled for something you didn't ask for in the first place. Like, you just ended up in this weird place. Talk to me.
I know for me, when I romanticize, especially when I was younger, it would be things like, oh, he didn't have the same opportunities as I did, which might be true, but he didn't have the same opportunities. He's just had it harder and more difficult. That's why he might be a busboy, or that's why he might be, working here or there and not really doing anything. I gotta help build him up, but it's okay, because it's
got
like
potential.
I explained away the life choices that this person made as, it's okay. And, my love can fix it.
Oh, okay.
My love can fix it, or, and we'll just keep moving on. And then eventually we'll be at the mountaintop. And this person that barely can do anything is all of a sudden going to turn into this, go-getter with, go-getter, have dreams when, it just, you excuse it. It's kind of just not really.
You overlook reality.
Yes. Not looking at the reality of the
Okay.
Yeah.
So in defense of this make believe man that you're talking about, when you say he can't do anything, so I have to put a pause there because I feel like, and I think well, not necessarily harsh. It could be your reality. It could be based on the situation you've been in or whatever. But I think sometimes we know that people do certain things for certain people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just because I was in a relationship with this person, they did these things for me, but then they did the next person, they did even more things. Like this went above and beyond. So I want to be careful because I don't want all the bus boys to be mad at me because you said
Right.
they couldn't do more. I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is like sometimes I believe, and on the men's side more than women's side, I believe men are inspired by the women in their lives. So he might have just been floating through life, and then he met you, and then all of a sudden he was inspired to do more, work harder, try this new thing, go back to school, start a job. But I think that's a part of the relationship. So
or they kept floating.
Well, that's the thing. You can only float so long. Like you only gonna float so long. Like the mixtape is only gonna come out so many times when you 35, 40, 50. The rap career is not happening, bro. So she's gonna ride with you for a minute, but after a while she's gonna be like, yo, this ain't working, right? So I think when we talk about settling, it's like, are you settling for, because it's like a fine line. It's like, okay, this person may be trying to get a business off the ground, let's say. And let's say he's hitting some setbacks, like boom, boom, boom. Do you jump ship because it's not happening instantly? Do you stick around and invest in and stay? Because there's a chance you could stick in and stay and it not happen.
That's true.
So will you feel like you settled for this person? Or because I feel like it's got to be more than just, okay, they didn't achieve this goal, so now they're not reaching their potential.
It's not, I mean, okay, in my defense, it's not just that. It's not just that. It's more in line of, I mean, that goes along with it because I'm an achiever, clearly. It also goes back to when you accept treatment that you wouldn't ordinarily accept. You're like, oh, well, maybe he doesn't know any better, or it's just the bare minimum, and you're okay with it. Like, oh, we don't do anything, we don't go anywhere, but he spends time with me. I'm having a hard time finding the words for it, but it has a lot more to do with that personal treatment and feeling special. Okay. And feeling valued. And when that's not there. Okay. So basically there's levels to it. There's levels to
being valued, feeling special. Are those the examples of like why people settle? Like, is that why a person settles for maybe less than what they wanted? Like, tell me a reason why someone would. Angie, talk to me. Why would a person settle for less than what they want in a relationship?
I think a lot of that is based on seeing the potential in that person. There's that potential
word again.
And that's a very precise word for settling. I've settled in many relationships because I saw the potential in this person. Okay. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, I know he can do it. He just needs a little push, and I can push him there. And as you know, I'm single, and that didn't work. I think a lot of it also has to do with I wanted that person to succeed more than they did. And you can't do that in a relationship. They're going to have to want it just as bad as you want them to want it.
And do they need to want the same things as you, right? Because sometimes you want a person to succeed one way and they want to succeed another way. And you feel like, well, they don't want to be successful because they don't want it the way I think they should have it versus the way they think they should have it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't necessarily say that is something that I thought about. However they wanted to get it, I just wanted them to get it.
Right.
Period. But again, a lot of that, I'm going to use that word again, is based on potential. And also, I'm going to piggyback off what LaDonna said in regards to treatment. If they treated me good and, you know, for example, when I was pregnant, my son's father, he cooked and cleaned for me. He, you know, made sure my bath water was made. He made sure, you know, the house was clean. He made sure, you know, the things that he knew made me happy. He did that. He did those things for me. But in the same token, he didn't have a job.
He was a whole baby face on.
Yeah. Right. So, but I stayed so long in that relationship because he did things. He made me feel a way. You know, he made me feel good. He took care of me when I needed him to, when I was pregnant. He, like I said, he would cook me anything I wanted. I valued things like that. But in the same token, I knew I was settling.
So that sounds like, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I literally heard you say there was an emotional currency that he was using to keep me afloat. And then, like, how valuable is that emotional currency? So I get it. He didn't have a job, but he did a lot of other things because maybe he didn't have a job. Like he said, well, I'm not working, but I can do this. I can keep the house clean. I can cook. I can take care of this, take care of that. How valuable is that emotional currency over, say, you know, him going out and getting a job? Now, I don't know, was he looking for a job or was he just staying at the crib like, this is all I'm going to do? You see what I'm saying? Because I feel like, and just tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like women want a man to have both. They want you to be able to go get the financial work currency, but they also want that emotional currency too. Because what you describe sounds like what a lot of women complain that they don't get from their husbands and their boyfriends. They don't get that from them. And so it sounds like it's a great partner. Like this, he's doing all those little things that most women say they don't get. But then you're saying, but you stayed so long because he didn't fulfill the other piece. And so I'm trying to figure out which thing is more important. Are they equally important, or how does that work? Because, you know, 24 hours in a day, you got to get a lot of stuff done. Is there a man out there that can do work, you know, 10 hours a day and come home and do your bath water and cook dinner and do all this? Like, is that what we're looking for? Is that what women are looking for, or what? Talk to me. Because I really heard you say there was an emotional currency. It wasn't actual money, but what he was doing for me made me feel good, made me feel special. And how valuable is that in your relationship?
I think a balance of both, and clear expectations make a big difference. And then all of this, is it a part of the journey or is it settling? So I think it depends on, again, the expectations. So is the woman expecting the emotional uplift, the household duties, the job, the career, and the guy thinking that just A and B are sufficient? Or do they have clear expectations? So does he know that she feels like she's settling? Or is this just a point in time where he doesn't have a job? He knows that he can do A and B. He's working on the job, and it's just a part of the journey.
Is that acceptable? Is that it? So it
depends on the expectations.
Yeah, is that acceptable? Is it? Because I think it depends on the woman. So Oprah is not necessarily looking for you to bring the financial stuff home because she's got it, but she probably would appreciate somebody who, you know, told the maid to wash, told the cook to cook, told the butler to do this. I mean, she probably would appreciate that from a man, whereas somebody else may want the other piece and is not so focused on you washing dishes or clothes or taking care of the kids because they want the financial part. So I think it kind of, I agree with the balance thing. I agree that you guys want us to have, you know, 5 and 6 arms and 2 heads and be able to do everything in the world. But, you know, is it really based on you, the woman? Is it really based on, or the partner? I shouldn't say the woman. The partner is really based on what the partner, quote unquote, needs. Because if a person is financially stable or doing well, do they need the same things as somebody who's not as financially stable? You know what I mean? Do they need the same things? Do they need, you know? And then is that settling? Like, because I feel like while you were pregnant, those are the things he was supposed to be doing. Like, that's a great thing for him to take care of his pregnant girlfriend, right? That's a good thing for him to do. But then when did it become settling? I guess that when did it transfer from support, love, care to settling? Like, when did it make that transition?
I don't know.
To me, it seems to make that transition when more responsibility comes into play.
Okay.
So when life gets serious and there's responsibility and decisions and things like that have to be made, and that person becomes unreliable or not there, or it's just like, well, whatever you want, that partner can't help you with that. Like,
did he stop doing those things? Like, did he stop doing them? I guess when you say unreliable, did he go from doing those things to not doing those things? Okay.
No, the person he was probably always that way. It's just for a while, relationships are like a honeymoon. It's a honeymoon phase. It's fun. It's exciting. It's, there's no real like responsibility that happens. There's no real decisions that have to happen that affect, your life. And then, but that's kind of when you start to realize you're selling, when those decisions start being made. It's like, well, wait a minute, there's no feedback from him here. There's no opinion here, or you're just absent in this part of what's the real part of life, where, where, I guess, for lack of this, what's the saying, where the rubber meets the road,
right?
You're there by yourself. It's like, oh, well, what you gonna do about that? And you're like, well, what? Well, aren't we doing this together?
What are we going to do about that?
Like, and it's just, and that's when you start to realize, okay, maybe I'm settling, because. Go ahead, Nick.
So the way I hear you, and I can see that too. I'm just like visualizing and relating that to a couple of things that I've seen or experienced. So can settling happen down the line? Because in the beginning, there's, the honeymoon period, and you're building this relationship. And then when rubber does meet the road, like, you're already in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the settling happen, when does it happen? When do you realize it?
And is it really settling? Like, so, because what I hear is kind of like, I hear a shift in the needs of the partner. That's what I heard. I heard that in the beginning, this was perfect. Like, this was a good reason to settle. This was a good reason to accept what this person was offering. If we're going to use this as an example, we're using this as an example. This was a good reason for you to accept what the person was offering. But then as your needs changed, now you need something different, and the thing that you were getting before is not as valuable as it was before. That's what I hear. So I guess it answers the question: is there a good or positive reason to settle? Like, is it a good reason to settle? Because we hear the word settle, we get a negative connotation. But if I took the word settle and said, you need to settle out of court, is that negative? You need to settle this dispute. Like, it's like, how do we?
Well, I think people settle financially. Like, if they're going to be financially taken care of, they're willing to accept, perhaps give up some of that emotional support that they need so that they can be okay financially. I think people do that a lot. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't think that would work for me personally, but I prefer, as Tanique said, a balance.
I think in every relationship, there's an aspect of settling. It could be something as simple as how someone looks. Oh, I wanted somebody who was 6'5", and I got somebody who was 5'2". I settled in that area. So, you know what I mean? So it really just depends on what it is.
It's a great segue. So my next question is really, tell me the difference between settling and compromise, because I'm hearing they're like cousins, right? They're like cousins, because I hear settling, and of course when you hear that, it's a negative connotation to it. But then I hear compromise. You wanted somebody 6'5", but the man you fell in love with, the man that makes you feel like a queen, is 5'2". Are you settling, or did you compromise because he checked all the other boxes on the list? He just wasn't 6'5".
I think that would be more of a compromise.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, when looks fade and
because they're gonna fade. You ain't gonna be fine forever now. Looks are gonna change, bodies are gonna change, hair is gonna change. I'm saying, but is that a compromise or are you settling? Because, you know, unless you want to date somebody 20, you're gonna, you know, if you date somebody your age, it's gonna be some. And then how valuable is that? Like, how valuable is it that a person be aesthetically pleasing? I mean, it plays a part in it, I'm sure, but they could be fine and treat you like garbage. So it's like, So I really want to talk about that difference between a compromise and then settling.
I think a compromise is smart, and settling is
dumb.
I think a compromise is more of a rational decision.
Yes.
Yeah. Where settling it's just kind of.
Is it emotional?
It was what emotional?
Settling.
They could be.
Yeah, it can be. It can be emotional.
So let me give you a scenario. So, of course, when we do these shows, I interview a bunch of people. We talk about different scenarios or whatever. So I've got a good friend of mine, no names, but a good friend who was in a relationship with a young lady for a length of time, 2-3 years actually. And he woke up one morning and was like, I'm not happy. Like this relationship is not fulfilling. He said, the thing that I get from it is I get to love somebody. I get to take care of somebody. I get to support somebody, but I'm not getting the same thing in return. And so he was like, it got to a certain point when I realized I'm never going to get what I want in a relationship from this person. So he broke up with her, you know, and it was after like 2 or 3 years. I'm sure she was probably expecting something else when they had this conversation, but he was just like, you know, and it was cool. He said, I put on a good face. You know, I smiled when I was supposed to smile. I took the pictures, We went on the trips. We met the family. We did all that. He said, but she never gave me what I was looking for from a partner, unless I told her to do something, or unless I hinted at something, or unless it had to be very obvious for it to click to do this. And so he said, you know, I couldn't. He said I had to go. I could just bounce. And so
settling, yeah. So
right.
He was
settling for.
He would have been settling. He did not.
If he would have stayed.
Had he stayed,
I think if he would have stayed in that relationship, he would have settled for less than what he deserved. Definitely. And so now he's in a much better relationship. Like, he's like, man, and it's weird because he's like, I didn't realize what I was missing out on until I met this girl. I mean, she's amazing. She does this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah. But it's almost like when you hungry and somebody give you a graham cracker, you like, damn, this graham cracker is amazing, right? It's so good. Maybe it's because you were starving for so long. That's why this relationship. But I mean, don't get me wrong. The new person is great. Like, everybody likes her. She, you know, but I just wonder, like, is that settling? Like, okay, I'm in this thing, and there's like this timeline where it's like, how long do you stay before you say, okay? Because, you know, there's a little growth period. There's a little time period. You know, there's a period, I call it the hope and wish program, where you're hoping and wishing that this thing's going to turn the corner, right? You hoping and wishing this person's going to get a clue, hoping and wishing this person's going to grow up, hoping and wishing this person's going to listen. And then at a certain point, you're like, you know what? This person's not going to be different.
Sometimes all that hoping and wishing will lead you into a relationship you've been in for 10, 15 years. And by that time, some people may think, oh, well, there's nothing else out there. I might as well just stay in this.
Right.
You know?
Right. You get comfortable in it.
And that's when, the settling probably happened. Mm-hmm. The settling probably happened years before, they even realized it. Because sometimes when you're in a relationship, you don't know yet that you're settling.
Right.
It's not until when things start to get real, when you need to start depending on this person,
right,
that you realize, well, this person hasn't been there for me. This person isn't uplifting me. This person isn't inspiring me, you know, whatever the case may be. And you just kind of start to think and just like, wait a minute, this is not what I envisioned when I got into this relationship. I'm not getting my needs met, whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, whatever the case may be.
right.
But I will say that that timeline that you have, from what I've seen, that timeline tends to get extended if the sex is good.
Whoa. Okay.
I'll be honest.
All right.
Seems
all right.
like it gets extended if that is good.
Okay. All right.
If it's not, then it's like, well,
Timeline shortens. That's funny.
it's like yeah.
Just what LaDonna had mentioned. If it is good, that creates soul ties. So that can get even further. So you're settling, but yet you have this soul tie and you can't let go.
So
okay, you got sprung and turned out, and
okay, I like that. I like where we're going with it. Okay, so let me ask this question then. Okay, soul ties, but let's not say soul ties. Do you think that sometimes in a relationship, if the sex is good, you put on, I say blinders and earmuffs. This is my example.
Absolutely.
Where your stuff is just blatantly in your face and you still just like, I don't see it.
No.
Yeah.
You become Ray Charles.
What'd you say?
Yeah, that's a part of romanticizing that we talked about at the beginning. The hoping, wishing.
Sex is a part of it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm asking because I'm not a woman, so I don't know.
You know, if it's amazing, you're like, oh, he's so, you know what? He's not that bad. he's not that bad.
He's not treating me as bad as I thought.
I believe men do that too, though.
Oh, now listen. I got some friends. I'm gonna say their names on this thing, but I got some friends. Man, listen. Once the girl put it on him, it was like, bruh, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? He's like, what you mean, man? I mean, she's just. I mean, I'm like, she's what? Come on, bruh. You like just like stupid stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we all have the friends we have. We're like, you know, oh, he must really be putting it down for her to be putting up with this. Like that's just what. Same for guys. Like, what did she do? What did she do to you? Like, what?
I was like, bro. First of all, let me just say this, and this is coming from a more mature place. If I sleep with somebody and they make me do stupid stuff, I'm staying away from them. Like, I got to get away from them because my life is going to be ruined because of this. Like, I know dudes that's like paying bills and buying cars and I'm like, now listen, on the surface, that sounds great. Oh man, whatever she's doing, I want to find out. But then we think about it. I don't know if I want to sleep with a girl that'll make me buy her a brand new car. I don't know if I want to sleep with her. I think I'll be okay with the dinner girl. I could buy her dinner. Yeah, okay. But a car, a house, like, man, what is going on in that room? Listen, hey, I don't know. And maybe that's just me, you know. I poke fun at it, but the truth is, in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever. I think I missed that girl. I think I missed her. But I can see how it can make you settle though, because I have this conversation. I have this conversation with a lot of younger guys that I talk to, like, and they ask me about relationships, and I always say that there's this running joke. It's a running joke that crazy girls are the best in the bed, right? We hear this all the time. Oh, crazy girls are the best. And I explained to them that, listen, remember that crazy girl is crazy in the bedroom, but she's also crazy in your living room, outside your job, at your mama house. She's crazy everywhere. So you got to remember that. Like, yeah, that's great. Don't get me wrong. You know, oh, man, we were in the car on 285, and she just jumped on me in the driver's seat, and I had to look over her shoulder not to crash, and it was off the chain. That's great. That's great. She tried to kill y'all. You didn't notice that because you was having sex. She tried to murder y'all. She don't care about her life. You know she don't care about your life. I'm just saying. I always tell her, I say, yeah, that's great. That sounds exciting. That's, you know, anywhere, any place. But understand, she's crazy other places too. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is upset her and you will find out how crazy she could be.
Yeah, when the crazy's turned on you, it's different.
Right. When it's the bad crazy versus the good crazy. And really, there isn't a good crazy. That's really just setting you up. It's bad crazy just setting you up for later. But so let me ask this. I think we got a nice kind of understanding between compromising a little bit. Like there's some stuff you're gonna put up with in a relationship that's not a deal breaker. So that's a deal breaker, or what I call a non-negotiable. Like there's some things that are just non-negotiable in a relationship. You're not finna be putting your hands on me. You're not finna be cussing me out. You're not finna spend up all the money of our bank account. Like there's certain things that should be non-negotiable, right? And then there's some things that are like, they're not that important to me. And then if we're honest, some stuff we really don't care about at all. Even though we may act like it matters, the truth is, I don't really care. Like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. And so is that a healthy way to settle? Like, is that healthy? Like, you know what? Like your example, he's not 6'5", but he makes me feel like the queen. He takes care of me. He takes care of all my needs emotionally, physically, financially, sexually, spiritually, whatever, takes care of all of them. That's a healthy settling, I think. Because I think you'd rather be with somebody that makes you happy and make you feel good about yourself than somebody that just looks good, you know. Because one's going to last longer than the other. Like, you know, one's going to be, I think one is going to make you better. You know what I mean? Like being with the right, like they say, being with the right person makes your life better. I can attest that being with the wrong person will make your life much worse. I can attest for that. I have the t-shirt, the hat, I got it all. Picking the wrong person can really throw your life in a whole, you know, like it could throw you off for years. It could throw you off. And so picking the right person, and so maybe the list you had at 20, at 30, you might have crossed off a couple things, but by the time you hit 40, you like, man, none of this stuff is important. I just need somebody that's going to be, you know, a partner. We get into this partnership thing, life partners, and just someone to share this life with, and you know. So I mean, is that a healthy settling? Is there a healthy way to say, you know, this ain't really that important in the grand scheme of things?
I think it's called decision making. I think that's probably a better term or a better phrase than settling, just because settling has that negative connotation.
Yeah.
I think at some point you have to make a decision that will include some compromises.
Yeah.
I think you take the term settling out of it, really.
Okay.
I don't think there is a healthy settling.
You just kind of make a decision and accept what comes with it and what doesn't come with it, I guess.
Educated decision.
Yeah, but you don't know. That's what people, you don't know. You back to hoping and wishing again, I guess. I mean, you don't know.
You have an idea.
You have an idea. You have an idea.
You're not moving too fast. If you're not moving too fast, you have an idea.
Well, you know, they say if you rush, you ruin it, no matter what it is. Food, relationship, traveling. If you rush, you ruin it. Yeah, no matter what it is. If you rush into it, rush to it, rush through it, you will ruin it every time. But I guess, but you still, I just feel like you still never know. Like, haven't you gone on a date with someone and you're like, oh my God, this was great. This is a great conversation. This was one of the best dates I've been on in a long time. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, this mother is crazy. I can't believe I went on a date with this crazy person.
That's because that was their representative. Like when you first start, you're meeting.
But everybody sends a rep out. Everybody says representative. I don't know, no, except for me. Everybody else sends a representative out.
A representative is out there. That's their representative.
Except for me, I don't do that. But everybody else.
You gotta wait until the representative stops coming.
Sometimes that representative, it could take a while for them to
6 months. 6 months.
You think it takes 6 months?
So here's the thing: the representative shows up to get them to like you, but that's not you. So you gotta be the rep for a while because you have to develop the relationship. The relationship is between them and the rep, not them and you. It's between them and the rep. And usually about 6 months in, you start to seep into the relationship. Like you start to show your true colors. You start to do certain things. And then that's when the whole, oh, you used to be like this, you're not like that. What's going on? Something's weird, something's changed, something's different, because they were never really real in the beginning.
And that's where it comes, that's where they're hoping that they have you hooked enough that you will settle. Like, okay, they're gonna overlook these things It's been 6 months. I got them to really like me, even though that's the representative. And if the sex is really good and they've done other things that you liked in the beginning.
It's like the third time you brought up sex being good. I just want to say, just a point of order. Like the second, third time you talking about the sex being really good. You brought up sex again. It being real good. I just want to say.
Come on now, that representative, the first 6 months, if they're sending a representative and it's lasted for 6 months, they're trying to pull out all the stops to make you not want to leave.
I can't relate because I don't do that. While I'm single.
No, see, me and my cousins have talked about this. Yeah. So you send they send the representative, right? 6 months, and then when it's time, when they start to really show up, and you're like, ooh, the hope is that they have, as Angie said, soul ties, have enough ties to you to make you reconsider walking away and be like, well, maybe that other person will start to come back.
Is that how y'all doing it out here? That's how y'all doing it out here?
That's how people are doing it. Okay. Not y'all, not women.
Because that sounds like a lot of women I know. I just want to say that. Sounds like a lot of women I know. Hey, and that's because I don't date men. So that's what I'm saying that. It sounds like a lot of women I know. But it could be guys too. But I know a lot of women that be like,
I don't think men last 6 months though. I don't think
it depends on the dude. Like it just depends. But like like my boy talked about this. We talked about this the other day. Like when you first meet a girl, right? And you're going out on dates with her. So stuff that you would normally do, you don't do that no more because you're going on a date with her. Like you, instead of going out with your friends, say on Friday night, you're making plans with her on Friday night to go on a date. Okay, you go on a date. Then let's say Sunday, instead of watching football all day, you decide to spend time with her, right? So you do this for a couple of weeks, Friday, Tuesday, whatever, and you spend time with her. So then once you get to a certain point in the relationship, you're like, okay, well, this Friday, we're not going to go out. I'm going to go out with my friends. She's now looking at you sideways like, what you mean? And then Sunday comes, you're like, oh, I got to go watch the game. She's like, what, the game? You have mentioned the game? Now, was that malicious? Was he sending a representative or what? Because there's a process to getting to know somebody, right? No, and it's hard to certain activities. It's hard to get to know somebody. Like if I watch football all day on Sunday, because it's like 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, right? It's football on all day, right? If that's what I do on Sunday, do I invite her to participate in that? Because we're really not going to engage because I'm going to be on the game. So do I do that? How do I work that? Because it's like you want to get to know this person. You want to spend time with them. But you also want to stay true to who you are because this is who you're going to be dating. So I think some of that may lead to this settling conversation because, I've spent time with you because I'm trying to get to know you, spend time doing stuff with you. Now that we're together, now that we say, okay, well, let's be in an exclusive relationship. I'm like, bet, we together now, right? Cool, bet. I go back to doing what I normally do. Am I being?
But he already set the tone for the relationship in the beginning. If we're doing something every Sunday, we go here every Sunday for whatever 2 months or whatever, and then on the third month you want to start kicking it with your boys on that Sunday. You've already set the tone for the relationship. I expect for you to do this with me on this Sunday like we've been doing. Now, if you go and switch it up, then that might make me feel like, oh, you don't want to spend any more time with me. Oh, he doesn't value our quality time anymore. So I might start to think that I might be settling because now he wants to kick it with his boys.
So what's the sweet spot for that? Because to me, I feel like he took time out of his normal life to get to know. He's actually compromising and making sacrifices because he thinks you are worth it. You're somebody special to him. He wants to get to know. So he was willing to put that on hold to get to know you. Now that he's gotten to know you, now that you guys spend time together, he feels like, okay, good. She should be understanding of me going and doing something else. But you're saying he set an expectation, and now when he wants to do something different, she's like, whoa, what's up? Like, so you see how that's like same situation. We both experiencing the same thing, but we're both hearing something different.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that. I'm not saying that I would do that, but some of my female friends, they have done that, and I think that's where a compromise will come into play.
Okay.
Like, you know, I did this because I wanted to spend time with you. Now that we are maybe together now, I kind of want to, spend some time with my friends because I've been with you so much that I'm kind of neglecting, the people that I call who are my friends. So if she was an understanding person, she would compromise with him and say, I understand. Go kick it with your fellas. Go kick it with your girls, whoever, and, come back to me. I think again, that's where you would have to compromise.
But when do you introduce that, though? In the very beginning? Should you introduce that at the very beginning, like when you first meet them, or should you get to know them first and then introduce that?
I think it's probably a natural progression.
Yeah.
I think you learn each other during those first 2 months as you're getting to know each other, and you introduce it somewhere along the way with a compromise that's going to be discussed. Sundays are, going to be different now. How about Thursday night? Well, maybe not Thursday night.
Football on Thursday too, just so you know.
I just fixed it.
And like she said, in that natural progression, if y'all been going out for like a month or however long you said, and she doesn't know that that's what you normally do with your friends on Sunday, that's kind of weird too.
That's the problem.
Like, why would? Like, I'll be like, well, this is like in getting to know each other and your lives. It's like, well, normally I hang out with my friends.
So
like, it should really be a surprise. It's like, oh, okay.
So
like, you remember I told you?
So up front, when I first meet her, I should be like, hey, listen, normally on Sundays, this is what I do. But since I just met you and I'm trying to get to know you, I'm not going to do that this Sunday. I'm going to spend it with you. But normally, this is what I would be doing, okay?
Yeah, eventually in the conversation, you start to talk about like what you do on a regular.
Well, listen,
you had a whole life before you met that person.
One of the reasons why I started this podcast, is because apparently, believe it or not, people get in relationships and don't communicate. Can you believe that? They don't actually talk to each other. They talk at each other, they talk around each other, but they don't actually talk to each other. And so they end up in these relationships where it's a lot of silent expectations, a lot of shared beliefs that they don't share, understandings that they don't. It's just, that example that Angie gave was perfect because literally a guy and a girl experienced the same thing, but got two different things out of it totally. So it's almost like the need for clear, concise conversations and communication is important. Because the female in this example, she interpreted me going to spend time with my friends as me not wanting to spend time with her. And so for the guy, it's like those two things aren't even related. Like, no, I want to spend time with you and my friends. But because of what he did in the beginning of the relationship, she interpreted it a different way. And so one of the foundations of this show is really talking about that. About, okay, how is it that two grown, highly functioning adults could have the same experience and come away with two different understandings? So clearly we got to figure that out. That's why this show is called The Thing About Us, because it is this thing about us that seems to get all screwed up. And the worst thing in the world is to walk away from a situation thinking A and really B happened. Because you make decisions based off of A. You make choices, you make decisions, you buy stuff, you take stuff back, you delete stuff, you post stuff. You do all this stuff based on what you think happened. And sometimes once you find out that's not what happened, you can't fix what you did. You can't change it no more. So I wonder if we're setting ourselves up to settle in a relationship, setting ourselves up. Because it's almost like I'm saying, hey, I need a girl that looks like this. And so I only date girls that look like this. And even though she may not have the other qualities I'm looking for, she looks like this. So I'm setting myself up to settle for less than what I want. Thoughts? Boy, they got quiet.
You want a girl that looks like this, if you keep dating someone who looks like this, you're going to come across someone who you may not like. So that might change the type of woman that you date, if that makes sense. So again, going back to my example, I want a man who looks like this. I want a man who looks like this.
Right.
I got a man who looked like that. And that didn't turn out too well. So I no longer want a man who looks like that because I have a perception of that type, and I kind of want to go the opposite route.
So isn't that unfair? Isn't that unfair to all the people that look like that though? Because it's almost like saying you still want a guy that looks like that. You just don't want him to act like that. You still want him not. We all are shallow in our core, deep down inside. We are shallow, selfish people. We are. Okay. And so you still want a guy that appeals to your eye, whatever that is. We saying that, but that's what we mean. There's a look that you like. Okay. We know tall, pretty, handsome, whatever it is. Dark skin, light skin, beard, hair, no hair, like whatever it is. Y'all got types. Everybody has types, right? So you still want that. You just want him to treat you. You want him to act a different way. But what you did is you took that look and you attached all the behavior with it. And that's not necessarily fair because there may be somebody 6'5" who looks the way you want them to look that's going to treat you good. But you're not even giving them a chance because you're like, how tall are you? 6'5". Oh, no, you're too tall to be good in a relationship. Nah. It's not fair.
It's not fair. It's not. But at the same time, there's still nothing wrong with me changing the type of men that I would like to date. There's nothing wrong with that either.
I agree. I'm on your side. I agree with that 100%.
Just don't block your blessing that may come in the package that look like the previous did.
That's true.
And vice versa. I'm never saying that I wouldn't give that person a chance.
I'm just saying, let me just see what else is out there. Let me stop looking for the 6'9" brother or the 6'5" brother. Let me see what's over here with the 5'2". You know what I mean? So I'm just expanding my horizons. I'm just, making my options a little bit. I guess my circle's getting bigger.
Here comes, okay, this is the female double standard right here. I'm sorry. I got to call it out. Okay, this is the female double standard. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I believe you. But I hear a lot of women say to men, you know what? You should give her a chance. I know that she's not exactly what you're looking for, but she's nice and she's sweet and she's smart. And so you should give her a chance. I know that she's not exactly the type of girl that you're looking for. She doesn't look the way you want to look. She doesn't sound the way you want to sound. She doesn't wear her hair the way, but you should give her a chance. She's nice and sweet. Y'all do that to us all the time. Ask any dude. If a girl says, I want you to meet my friend, first thing he says is, what she look like? And what's the first thing you say? What is your first natural reaction? What's the first thing you say?
Good personality.
I'll say she's cute.
She's cute. Yeah, y'all be like, she's cute. Every girl I know says something. She's cute. And I want to say, is she cute on a girl standard or a guy standard? Because I rarely ever heard a woman ever say, oh, no, she's ugly. She ain't cute. I've never, ever heard a woman say that about a girl. Never. Say, well, she ain't all that. Y'all always say, oh, she's cute. Then you be like, she's real smart. She got a good job. She just bought a new car. She got all these other attributes. But you always say cute. Do you think any of your friends are not cute? Be honest.
I was just about to say, maybe we're just not recommending. Maybe we're truly recommending the cute one. That's all that is.
Nah. Because usually what y'all deem cute, we don't. We don't. Just like when y'all ask us about a dude, I'll be like, I don't know. You got to see for your. I don't know. You got to see for yourself.
You know if we ugly or not. You know if your friend is ugly.
I don't. You know why? Because everybody has at least 3 people that find them attractive. Everybody walking around. Think about back when you were in school. There was an ugly dude. He had a girlfriend.
We've all dated people that probably were not that cute. We've all dated somebody that may not have been that. Oh, you deny that?
No. I'm saying. Oh, I know I have. For sure.
Yeah. So, we've all dated somebody. We've compromised on looks.
But what I'm saying is, if you ask a dude how he look, he gonna be like, you gotta make up your own mind. I don't know, because I can't tell you what's ugly to you. I can't tell you, because there's men out here that you women think is attractive, and we guys be like, what? Like what? You think he's attractive? And we just go home like, I ain't got no chance because this brother, I don't even understand what the attraction is. Give me 3 women that you think that we think is attractive that you think is not. Y'all quiet.
We don't have any women to name.
The guys on Insecure. Who's the most attractive dude on Insecure?
What's his name? Lauren?
I'm stuck between Lawrence and Daniel. Because Daniel has a whole other swag than Lawrence, you know.
But I'm confused. What's the difference between the two? What's the different swags? I mean, would you be settling for Lawrence or settling for Daniel?
Daniel's the guy that does the music, right?
Yeah, Daniel does the music, and Lawrence was Issa's.
Here's the honest answer. Daniel is a one-night stand. The other brother is a husband. That's the difference.
There may be some truth to that for somebody.
Oh, I like how you answered that. For somebody. I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like, one dude is like sexy, you know, energy, whatever. And the other dude is more, he's settled. He's a everyday, good-looking guy, smart, you know. I get it.
I mean, but that's a good example. Like Issa and Lawrence's relationship in the beginning of the series.
Issa had them all. Issa's a player. I mean, Issa's
where,
a pimp.
You know, he was having a hard time, and I think he felt like
she settled
like she was. But I think the show did a good job of seeing how she got there, how she got to where she felt like she was settling.
I just appreciate the fact that they show how dirty women can be sometimes. Because usually the dude, I mean, usually when you hear a story about people cheating or messing around, it's always a dude. And a lot of girls, oh, I made a mistake. I got caught up, blah, 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 and then slipped up and messed around with somebody. Like, you hardly ever hear that.
Like I said, the storytelling, it showed how she got to where she felt like she was settling. And it just, it coincided with, unfortunately, he was having a bad time career-wise, and that, well, I guess the communication just kind of broke down.
Did it, though? Because I remember Lawrence being very clear about what he was trying to do. I thought he was really clear. We were all rooting for the app. Everybody was. Is Lawrence's app out yet? Because we're going to all download it to support him. The app got him his job, though.
It did. Relationships go through transitions. There's what you want right now may be different than what you need later.
Every 7 years. I used to say 10, but it's every 7 years. Every 7 years it changes. What you want, what you need, you know, what's important to you. You're looking for somebody to sit next to on the couch and don't talk. Just don't say nothing. Just be quiet and just sit here. I just need this, right? But imagine saying that to somebody. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Listen, I just want a companion. I don't need all the other rah-rah. She'll be like, what? Sit down, shut up. So just imagine that, you know? But that's real. Like, that might be what you want. Like, you know, we got to be going and doing. See, when you got to go do something all the time in your relationship, something's wrong with your relationship. If you have to be doing an activity all the time with the person that you're with, you have settled. Because if you're not fulfilled just being with that person, being around that person, if you got to fill the space between y'all with an activity, something is wrong. You've settled for somebody that is not the best fit for you. I'm not going to say not a good fit, but the best fit.
People are figuring that out because they're on quarantine right now.
Man,
right?
Listen here. This COVID is redefining relationships for everybody. Divorce court going to be popping when the courts open back up. And then people are getting married too. A lot of people are like, yo, we might die. And, you know, I know we've been dating for 10 years and I know I've been saying we won't get married, but, you know, this corona got me really thinking about my future. Let's get married. As we get ready to wrap up, I want you guys to give me some parting shots about settling. If you had to give some advice to your younger self or give some advice to somebody that's in a relationship, looking for a relationship, leaving a relationship, what advice would you give them about settling? Everybody give me something to pass on.
I would say don't put yourself on some imaginary clock, some imaginary time frame of having to be married or be in a situation, because that pressure you put on yourself that comes from society or whatever, it can lead you to make some poor decisions.
Yeah.
And I guess what I would add to that is something that my mom told me. Just because somebody asks you doesn't mean you have to marry them. Just because they ask doesn't mean you have to marry them. You should marry them because it's the right thing for you. So
I'll keep that in mind next time somebody asks me to marry him.
Listen to that inner voice more. Pay attention to that, because there's been plenty of times where I had my inner voice tell me, Angie, you are settling. You deserve so much better. But I didn't realize it until 5-6 years down the line. But it was told to me very early on in the relationship. So I would say pay attention to that voice.
Okay.
I think mine would be to consider life like beyond the here and now and make a decision based on that. You know, not rushing, knowing things are going to change for better, for worse. Make a decision based on all the information you have at the time and considering life moving forward.
Well, my piece of advice would be this. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not I have to get every single thing on the list or else nothing. Because I feel like sometimes a person can't give you something until you're with them. Like a person can't love you the way you want to be loved until they're in a relationship with you. Because they don't even know what they're capable of. It takes the two of you being together in a relationship for them to realize that, you know what, I can love her more. I can give her more. I can love him differently, you know, or I'm willing to do things that I wasn't willing to do as a single person. Now that I'm in a relationship, I'm willing to do them because I'm getting this thing in exchange. So it's not a zero-sum game. It's more of a, you know, people say 50-50, but no, why would you want 50%? You want more than that. So if this person's giving, it's not 80%, it's if they're giving you the things you need, and then in return you're getting the things you need, then that's not settling. What's settling is that you're giving them everything they need and you're getting some of the stuff you need. That's a settling. So I would say it's not a zero-sum game. It's not an all or nothing game. It's not all the same. Stop loving people the way you want to be loved. They didn't ask for that. They asked you to love them the way they need to be loved. So I say it's not a zero-sum game. It's giving the person what they need and then getting what you need in return. So that would be my advice. I want to thank you guys for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate you. Kanique, it's so good to see you. It's been a long, long time. Kanique has a business. It's called I Heart Spell House, and it's on IG, and she has a website, I Heart Spell House. And tell us all about what I Heart Spell House is.
I Heart Spell House. It came from my union with my husband. After we had our first child, we wanted to figure out a way to express or have him represent where he came from. And the idea just kind of came about and flourished a bit. So after baby number 2 came, we went ahead and pursued it. And now we have I Heart Spell House. We do apparel for babies, toddlers, kids, and adults.
Okay, cool. So they can go on Instagram, and you have a website as well. Okay, and so they have for everybody, kids, adults. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. Don't be a stranger. I may call you again to talk about another conversation. This has been great. The Thing About Us podcast, we had a real conversation and we found real solutions for real relationships. So again, thank you all for being on the show, and I will be in touch with all of you. All right.